created a format for several weeks. So we got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about and work on and do. So if you're interested in mediumship development, this might be the time for you. So let's see. And you can support me by sending stars. So I'll let a few of you guys sign in. If you sign in, check in and say hello. Because tonight is going to definitely be a difference. Different. So if you join me here in the room early, please say hi, say hello. So that way I know you're here and we can get to talking. And we'll start the podcast at 8 p.m. sharp because we have a few things to cover. Tonight's going to be an interesting topic. It's a lot about connection and mediumship. Hi, Cindy. I'm glad you made it. So, come on, if you're in here, say hello so I know you're here. We're going to get started shortly. We have a topic, it's the found. So the whole podcast is going to be based on something. Hey, bestie. Hey, bestie. I'm so excited about the cruise. I truly am. It's coming up. I see two people. It says 4's in the room, but I only see 2 saying hello. So if you're in the room, say hi. So I know who I'm talking to. I know 18 more days. And tomorrow night's the last night I'm going to see Magni until we go on the cruise. Like, we're going to have a lot of time not together. I'm very excited too. I'll have to tell you what happened when I, made the changes. I'll have to give you that story. It was kind of interesting. I know Magni is going to be working pretty much every day but one day until he comes home to go on the cruise after this week. But he's got the whole cruise off, so that's good. This month is going to go by fast. I'm literally not going to probably see y'all until the cruise too. Unless we go out the night before the cruise, but I say we should go to KJ's the night before the cruise and celebrate. That's going to be really, really, really cool. I've gotten all kinds of fun things for the cruise. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I've ordered some fun games and stuff, and that we can play, and we're gonna have some contests and stuff. So it's going to be fun. And the investigation, the murder investigation, the psychic investigation, murder investigation is going to be like a whodunit. So that's going to be fun. You got to guess who committed the murder. It's going to be cool. So I've only been talking to Jamie and Cindy. Who else is out there? I see there are more people. We're getting ready to get started at 8 o'clock, and that is 4 minutes away. I got some door decorations. I got them here with me. I can't show them to you. They're fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yes, it is a magnet. Well, I just get the same stuff. That'd be funny. Yes, it can only be magnets. I know that. Nothing flammable. Well, who else is on here? I see Jamie and Cindy. I see there's at least 4 watching. All right, I'm getting ready to turn on TikTok. About another minute or so, I'm going to turn on TikTok and let some people start signing in there. So tonight, we're going to have a cool conversation. I'm going to announce it all when we get online. Y'all can probably see it if you're looking at the titles. But okay. So now we still got 3 minutes or 2.5 minutes. But so I see Cindy and Jamie. Y'all talking up a storm. I love it. Keep talking. I know it says that my eye capture is telling me there's at least 4 people in the room, but I only see 2 people logged in. And sometimes it tells me 4, there's usually more. It somehow doesn't capture everyone. Okay. Well, this is a long minute. There we go. Like, good Lord, I've been watching. Okay, so it's 2 minutes to show time. So I'm going to start the TikTok and see if we get some people in live. And get ready to hit the go live button. In another minute, I will hit the go live button and then we'll get started. And it's going to be a fun night. And so I'm going to talk about some of the changes and some of the things I've decided to do with the podcast. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. But it's going to be focused now. I see 7 on my side. Say hello if you're in the room. We're getting ready to get started. We're getting ready to get started. This is a long 2 minutes. Good Lord. I feel like the number is not even going. It's still... Good Lord. I know. We get started at 8, so just let's see. Now I'm down to 5 in the room. All right, 59. We got to get TikTok rolling. All right. 3, 2. Hi, everybody on TikTok. So tonight we're going to get started at 8 o'clock. We're going to start with a new title. I will announce the podcast, which is TE the Podcast. And when I do that, we'll talk a lot about what we're going to talk about tonight on TikTok. But if you want, you can sign on in on TikTok. And Brittany's here. I found Brittany. It's about time. You're going to give me some love? Yes, Jamie, go on TikTok and give me some love, girl. Give me some of them. I made a whole $1.38 off you last year. I told you that's the most I ever got. But we're going to do a little bit of introduction, and I'm going to talk about what the next year of the podcast is going to become. So I kind of want to have a focus so I can stay in line. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Touching Eternity, the podcast. I'm your host, Sid Patrick. And tonight, we got some special news to talk about because I'm kind of redirecting the formatting of the podcast. And so we're going to talk about that in a moment. But before that, let me talk about some upcoming events. I like to talk about those. So the first thing we need to talk about is the TE Cruise. We have 18 more days, and we are off at sea. And so with saying that, it's going to be a lot of fun. The classes have all been mapped out. We got all that ready. We have already started preparing with all the things and activities for everybody to do on the cruise. So it is going to be a lot of fun. It's just going to be a lot of fun. And if you missed it, I am sorry that you have missed it. But this cruise will be a lot of fun. And it's the Sense Healing Cruise because we'll be teaching sensing and we'll be teaching healing. And sensing is using your abilities to feel the energy around you, to understand what's happening around you. And we're going to be doing some investigative stuff. So if you're ever asked to go like look at a scene or a crime scene or something like that, we're going to give you some tools that you will be to use on the cruise ship. And then there will be some games and stuff that will have prizes and stuff like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're gonna have a blast, and I hope that we can all come home with our livers intact. So I know most of you got the drink package. So let's go have some fun on the TE Cruise, the 2026 Sense Healing Cruise. Thank you, people, for joining me again. I want to also say that the night before the cruise, that Saturday, we probably will do some kind of going away thing at my home with people, maybe doing a gallery or something like that. We'll probably have something then. I'm waiting to hear back from Trenny, but I'm sure we're going to have something like a gallery or something the night before we leave on the cruise, just to get everybody kind of together and have fun. If you are going on the cruise with us, you will get a discounted ticket, and if you're in Orleans Paranormal Social Club, you will actually get to come free to that gallery. Okay, so know that. So that's what we're giving back to the community. So that is something we're going to do, and so Jill and I will do the gallery, and Trenny can do it with us as well. But again, we're going to offer some people free entry, and those people who are going on the cruise will get a discounted rate of 50% if they want to. But the reason why Orleans Paranormal is, we'll talk about that later. But that's another group that I'm in. So again, join us. Come have some fun with us the night before we leave on the cruise. So it's going to be a big party, and we're going to have a lot of fun. And what I might be doing is having 2 galleries. So I think the people who are in Orleans Paranormal Group will be inside my home, and everybody else will be outside. And so, and I will have Jill in one, Trenny in the other, and I will go between both and work with both of them. And so that's probably what we're going to do, just to bring some love back to everybody and tell us bon voyage and that kind of stuff. We'll have a little going away party the night before. So anyway, what's new? So I've decided to focus on what my heart tells me to. Every week we get on, we just have conversation. I know everybody's here to try to get, a reading or something. And folks, I probably might do some card pulls and stuff like that, but I really feel that this time on the internet should be used in the podcast to focus on spirituality, metaphysics, the things that brought me here to this platform. So I've mapped out a yearly plan. In the first 10 weeks, we're going to all be on the foundations of mediumship. So we're going to talk a lot about mediumship, spirit connection, and that sort of thing. And we're going to each week over the next 10 weeks, because this is 10 weeks of this piece of it, and then each week brings in more and more and more. So again, join me. Yes, we will probably do some card pulls after, but we will also share a lot of stories here on the podcast. The biggest piece is that I want more interaction with you guys. And so how I'm going to probably do it is, if I can really get a session where everybody's talking and interacting, those are the sessions that I will probably, before I leave, do a couple of card pulls or readings for people. But it really is going to take a lot of interaction, because me coming up here talking, I can do that all the time. But I want interaction from you guys. And I will occasionally have a guest come on and talk about their experiences too. So again, follow along with us. And if we have time at the ends of the sessions, I will do some card pulls or something like that. But it won't be long, lengthy sessions, because I found that I believe that readings should be private, and they should not be, it's okay in a small group, but when it's on the internet, it's there forever. And so I want you to understand that and respect that, because we're going to actually talk about that next week. Next week is a class in ethics. So this week is all about mediumship and about psychic versus medium. What does that mean? And with saying that, I want to start by saying that the psychic umbrella is present. It's like an umbrella of energy, and I'm going to kind of explain that to you, how it works. But first, that you need to understand that all mediums are psychic, but all psychics are not medium. And it's tricky, and it's hard to tell when someone is reading you psychically or if they're really connecting to the spirit realm. And a true medium is able to connect to that spirit realm. And I think I've told y'all this before, but one of the lessons I used to like to give in one of my mediumship level classes was where I let you watch a bunch of videos of all these mediumship readings, and you had to pick out the fake one. And so some of the clues to that is understanding that an information that a medium gives should not easily be found on on Facebook or in social media or on the internet. I mean, a lot of the information, I mean, you can give some of that information, but that's not your true validatable information. It's validated, but it's not your true information that beyond a shadow of a doubt it came from the spirit world. And so I usually tell people who are taking mediumship and doing mediumship based work that the best information that is definitely spiritual is because the medium never knows why they're telling you what they're telling you unless they're cheating. They never know why they're telling you what they're telling you, but they, and if they don't know it and you don't understand it, then you go home and the spirit realm brings the evidence to you. That is the kiss. That is the kiss of mediumship. That is what, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is definitely from the spirit, because the sitter didn't know it and the medium definitely didn't know it. It's something that they had to sense. It's something they had to connect to. And so what I call the psychic, or the psychic umbrella, is this energy that just forms all around someone. And that's why some people will sit there and they'll go, and I get this one a lot, well, why didn't I get nothing? Well, because you didn't open your psychic umbrella. That's why you didn't get nothing. Or somebody's umbrella was open bigger than yours because they were able to blend with us. It's, a psychic, when they're giving you a psychic reading, they're blending with your auric energy. And they are blending with a piece of you. And so said, I want to schedule a session. Party at my house. That sounds like a lot of fun. Just message me on that phone on my website. But anyway, so a psychic, when they are reading for you, they're blending with you. Okay, and it's only going to be as good as the sitter is to open up. If you don't believe in it, don't pay for it. Don't go. You're not going to give, like I tell people, there are, if you sit there and just bottle up, I've been doing this for a long time. You've wasted your money and you've wasted my time if that's what you're going to do. We're going to blend energy. I know what I can do. I know that other mediums who've been doing this for a long time, they know what they can do. They know what they're capable of. Okay? However, if you're going to sit there and waste your money because then you're going to get minimal evidence because you're given minimal energy. And I'm not saying it's always your fault. Sometimes the medium has a bad day going in, or they had something happen on the way in. And as long as they're ethical about it and honest about it, say, hey, look, I'm not having a good day. I don't feel I've given you the reading I needed to give you. Here's a refund, or let's reschedule for another time. I'll read you for maybe 15, 20 minutes for free because maybe we did have some good parts, but I was tired, so I fizzled out or whatever. So those things can happen, because it is the blending of energy, not just the psychic and the sitter. It's also the spirit. And when it's a medium, the spirit's involved. So it's the medium, the sitter, and the spirit that's all blending energy. And that's that umbrella. That's what creates that umbrella. Psychics read here. Mediums read here. And so a medium can see it all, the psychic, and be able to give you evidence, or I like to say validation versus evidence, because if people don't believe you're doing what you're doing, they're not worthy of the connection. They should have never came. You get a lot of skeptics that come in and they sit there like this. They offer you all this money because they want to fool you. They want to make, and I'm just like, why? You're not worthy of a reading. You're not worthy of that connection. You're not doing it for the sake of spirituality. You're not doing it to be closer to that piece of heaven. You're doing it for the wrong reason. So do you feel worthy that you could get a session or a connection? And different mediums, as they're developing through their mediumistic role, as they develop through that mediumistic role, their vocabulary picks up, and the way they sense gets more in tune, and so they get more and more and more accurate as they develop. And so, if you go into somebody who's brand new, they might not be at their 100% if you've seen them 2 years from that time that they've grown into, because every piece of it is moving. Just as the medium develops, the spirit world's constantly developing and changing. I remember at one point, though, they didn't even know what claircognizance was. That was brought in later as one of the senses. So things develop with time. Communication develops with time. And nobody can write the book on it. No human, no human in the physical can write the book on it, because it develops constantly and it changes, and it's different for each person that's participating. The only thing that stays true is that you can give that validation of existence beyond this life. And what I tell people, it's a chosen journey, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's what you're born with. It's the gifts you were born with. But in some people's lives, and I respect their lives, if their religion or their beliefs because something happened, if they don't want to go down that path, I respect that. It doesn't hurt my feelings. And so should you. I respect, because I have to understand how other people are cultured, or what they were raised to believe. And if that's what they want to believe, that's okay. That's what makes the world an interesting place, is that we're all different. And so again, if someone chooses to work in this arena and do it with ethics and honesty and being real, then I believe in that case, the reverse is true. They should leave you alone. So anyway, with saying that, I wanted to explain about the psychic umbrella, and then what is the difference. So we're going to do a little exercise towards the end of the evening tonight that I'm going to have you do online with me. And we're going to do a little exercise where I help you try to shift. I'm going to have you do a little shift in your mind. And that's kind of what it's like when we go in as a psychic and then we shift into the mediumship and reach that spirit. So, or that loved one on the other side. I like the loved one better than saying the spirit all the time. So again, I want you guys to just kind of understand the mechanics and understand that it is your natural ability that takes you to that place. It is your senses that work with you. Once you develop your language, that language will become very strong, and your language will change over time. And there are many videos of me on YouTube in the beginning years when I first started doing public appearances, where you could see the difference in my delivery from then to my delivery today. So, and that's just because of development and change, and my language grew over time. And I found that working with other mediums, especially my work wife that I work a lot with, that the areas that she was sharpest in, I was able to absorb some of that energy, and so seeing other and helping strengthen my own areas. And I think that might work with everybody. I'm sure she's pulled, I know her mouth got like mine over time, and if she's online, she's going to probably laugh at that. But we're all sending her some love and prayers, because she's got a wonderful friend who had a wonderful heart surgery, and it went absolutely beautiful, and we're absolutely fabulously happy because we sent her a lot of love for that heart surgery. But anyway, but the first thing you have to do is learn to ground and learn to focus. Grounding is really, really, really important in and in life. I mean, if you're scattered, you can't even focus on what to do in the morning when you wake up. God, gotta have my coffee, gotta have this. But anyway, learning to ground yourself. What are those? Sometimes it's just good breathing, breathing in through the nose and holding it, exhaling for so long and holding it, and then taking a pause and then do it again, and just ground. See your feet on the ground. See everything just standing still. Start feeling that weight as you go up your legs and into your middle section, then up through your stomach and down your arms, all the way to your head. See everything just grounding, and sometimes just getting that good grounding space. A lot of people don't realize they do a lot of grounding right before they get into like a meditation, which is really good. It's just grounding in that spot and being able to focus. Grounding will help you focus. Every medium works different because it's how we trained our senses. So just don't think because you don't do it like me that something's wrong with you, or you don't do it like somebody you saw on television or on TikTok, because God knows there's a million mediums now on TikTok wanting your love, want you to tap that screen with a bunch of hearts, Jamie. But anyway, so I'm teasing my friend because I love her. But anyway, so grounding is really important. Also, energy reading. Let's talk about energy. Some people have energy that is so strong that you can see it with the naked eye. And when someone asks me, well, what does it look like? I give kind of like two definitions. The one that you kind of catch as you're staring with somebody, it's almost like if you see that wave you see when you're filling your car with gas on a hot sunny day, and you see that wave where you're driving down the road in a hot summer day in Louisiana or in somewhere in South Texas where it's hot as hell and dry as you know what, and you can see that wave of energy, and that's just from the heat. Okay, so that you'll see that on the side of a person, and that tells me what side their energy is balancing on. And if I'm doing a mediumship reading, I ask to be shown that on which side is their dominant side, which side do they want me to go up, the mama side or the dad side. And so that helps me understanding, by seeing that, where I want to go with what I'm sensing, and where are the pictures in my mind, and the smells and the tastes and the sounds, where are they focusing to? So that helps with that. Another thing you might see is if you see a teacher. I'm trying to see if I can do it for you guys online because I'm sitting here against a flat wall. But yeah, I can see a little bit on actually this side of me. But you'll see a ring around the head of a person who's against a flat wall. Usually you'll see that in a teacher or a lecturer, or if you're sitting in a business meeting, you'll see that little ring that goes around it. That's their energy. That is their energy. That is them putting out some wattage, okay? And so when I first started teaching, looking at auras, I would take, because New Orleans is so hot in the summer, it's so miserable here. But what I would do is I would take them outside to the trees, and I'd say, look at the trees, the ones in the distance, and you will see an outline around the trees, around the formation of the trees. You would actually see an outline. That's that tree's aura. That's that tree's energy. So, and the same thing you see with people, like when they're teaching and stuff, you will see a ring around them. And if a person has in grief, a lot of times I will see that ring of energy move away from them and actually form a face on side of them, which helps me know who it is talking to them, or who it is that's visiting with them, because all your dead people are with you 100% of the time. So that helps. I'm going to kind of stay on spirit communication. So we're going to talk a little bit about spirit communication. And so you have to understand the spirit communication. You have to understand that I'm not just sensing the person that's in front of me, that I am actually taking it a level up. I'm focused on the person in front of me. However, there's a shift of energy, and that's when that spirit steps in and starts communicating. And again, it's not like they're talking all the time, or it's not like they're showing you pictures all the time. Sometimes it might be a thought that changes when that brain shifts, or it might be a feel that you get. Sometimes you might have a memory of a smell, or an incident that, like, like cooking pancakes. A grandmother might do that in the morning, and you will sense that smell for a moment, or just brief past your nose. So you kind of feel that I might have a grandmother here, because they use what you know. And so using those signs, using those things that you sense, is what makes your connection more validatable, and it makes it work. And having trust. Everybody tries to offset things, but try to just trust. Now, for me, I think, what is it that brought me to where I wanted to be in my mediumship? And I think for me, it was support of other mediums. It was going to the classes and going to study in England, and just, opening up to it, because, for me, it was the death of my mother that took me into mediumship. I'd always read cards for many, many years. It was handed down in my family. But for me, it was, I think, with my mother's death, it was just having to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I will be connected to her again. That the short time we had on this plane, there had to be more. And so but I took the initiative, to travel, to go places, to meet with people. Now, believe me, there's a lot of bullshit out there. So you walk down that line, and you allow things that are real to get close to you, but the bullshit, you got to let it go, because there is some people out there. There's a lot of hate out there. There's a lot of fraudsters out there. There's a lot of people who will tell you they're connecting, and they look at the obituaries, they look at Facebook, they look at all kinds of them. But if somebody's giving you that type of information, don't go see them again. Don't go see that type of person again. Make sure they can give you some good evidence. And if you go to a card reader, a psychic, who only gives you therapy, now every reading should have some therapy, but they have to give you predictions in it. Like, a psychic is supposed to predict. They're supposed to tell you things that are coming and be able to predict those things. If they're only sitting there agreeing with everything you say and saying, "Oh yeah, that's right, that's what I'm," no, that's not right. And even at, there's times I might even say, like, sometimes I'm thinking something, somebody says it before I can say it, I'm gonna say, "Well, I saw that, but I can't own it." And I will clarify, I can't own that, but yes, I get that you're sensitive, because you got to understand that you're not the only person that's psychic or medium in the room. Other ones just haven't admitted to themselves. So some people might pick up on things or understand things. And so, what was my first aha moment I ever had, probably in mediumship, because I want to talk a little about some aha moments. And people who study mediumship will have those aha moments, like, there's beyond a shadow of a doubt, this has got to be real. And I was seeing a medium this was when I first started. I went to Chesterfield with a friend of mine who's passed, bless his soul. A lot of my friends have passed. This is a very dear friend of mine, and we went to, and he was in a relationship with one of New Orleans' most famous spiritualist mediums, and actually taught it at UNO. But anyway, he and I went up to Camp Chesterfield, which is right outside of Indianapolis, about maybe 30 to 50 miles outside of Indianapolis to the east. And it's a spiritualist camp where we went there for classes and for education. And one of the readings that I got there was from a lady, and her name, and I'm sure she's got to be past now, because this is 20 something years ago, and she was elderly there, but her name was Evelyn Carr. She's a wonderful woman and very, very, very intuitive. And she would have you write down a question on a piece of paper, and you would fold it up and hold it in your hand, and then while she was reading, you'd put it into her hand and hold her hand with it, and then she would answer the question for you. And while I was in a reading with her, she told me, she says, "I know your mom has passed, and if you take a breath, you can smell her." And I could smell my mother. I felt her walk right through me. That was one of my first aha moments. And then that same week that we were in those classes, Another aha moment that I had was we went to this. His name was, he was a reverend, and wonderful, loving man. He was a reverend, and he was taking us through like a meditation and stuff. And then, hi Celeste, and then he was channeling an energy, and like I could see it, and I had a psychic artist next to me, and I was like, draw this, and I said, I kept trying to draw it, and she drew exactly what I saw, like exactly. So that was another aha moment for me. Do any of you have some aha moments y'all would like to share? Like when you really believe that you had things happen that you believe was definitely something that you were connecting to the other side? Does anybody want to share one of those? Let's see. Hey, Glenda. Well, if somebody wants to share one of those out with everybody, I'd be glad to do that. But I've had many aha moments. Many aha moments where I'm like, wow, wow, what just happened? Wow. A lot of them, to the point now I get so many of them like it's just a normal day. Whether it's the knocking and raps on the wall, moving of furniture. Um, I've have witnessed so many physical phenomena around me. And that was something else that happened. Like when I first went to England, I didn't even know what a physical medium was. And I had a mentor there, Glenn Edwards, who's deceased, and but a wonderful, wonderful, fun man. Loved the way that man reads. They literally would have to pull him off a stage at a gallery because he was so full of energy and vibrant and accurate, and like he could tell you things like he could take you to a town and tell you places in it and describe buildings to the T and stuff. He was absolutely want to give you names and family names, and he was phenomenal. But I did get a reading with him, and everything he told me has happened. Everything he told me has happened. But anyway, back to the aha moments and stuff. So anyway, Glenn, I did not know what a physical medium was, and Glenn kept telling me said you have physical capabilities, and I'm like, I don't even know what does that mean, you know? And so that got, I think I've told you, so that's when he took me down into trance, and I was actually able to push out one of the people that communicates with me, so that the people could see this person with their naked eye, and that was like I witnessed by well over 100 people. They literally described the person to me that they saw pop out because I was in trance, and so I've been able to do that a few times, is push that person out. So, and I think we talked about that not too long ago, so I won't stay on that. But that's a big aha moment, in mediumship and in learning, just knowing those things, and getting those validations. Like you get those people. I don't want to sound bad, those people, but we get a lot of clients who bring stuff with them to a reading or a gallery. They bring stuff in their purse. They bring stuff, and then you have some that just want you to say something, and it's like, I can only give what my language allows, and that's what they don't understand. If I can give it, I will, and we've done this many times. We have given it, but you can't be put on the spot with that, because if it's not part of your language, or the spirit doesn't know how to communicate that to you, and it depends on what your strengths and weaknesses are. There's a lot of factors in there, but it doesn't mean it can't be done. And I finally got some questions. So Kiara says, when my dad passed, I had a vivid dream the night before his funeral with my dad. It was him reassuring that he was good. It was so real, because Kiara, it was real. All your dead people are with you 100% of the time. Even when you're doing that, I tell that to guys, it freaks them out, but they see everything. Their energy is around you. They're in your thoughts, they're in your prayers, they're in everything around you. And that's why we do celebrations of life these days versus the mourning and the quiet and no mentioning of the dead as they did in the past. That's why all that's changed over time. And then Glenda says, I always hear cars driving up and the car door closing, but no one's there. Then a few minutes later, someone drives up. Yep. So one thing, so Glenda, that makes me think of something that used to happen to me. So when my parents were, I was a latchkey kid, me and my sister, but occasionally we'd be at the babysitter. And so when I was real young, I was too little to be a latchkey kid. So I'd be at the babysitter, and my mom would come get me at different times, but I'd always hear a crick in the door would tell me that someone was coming to the door. And to this day, still to this day, if I have company coming, I'll hear a certain crick in the door that tells me I better get dressed. Somebody's about to hit my door. So that is something that happens. Like it's like a almost like a creak in the door, and then like in the front door, I hear it, and that tells me that someone's coming. So I know that. So that is cool that always happens to you with the cars, because it used to happen to me when people used to come visit, or my mom would come to pick me up. That's when it started long, because I used to cry for her to come get me when she was late, and then I would hear that crick in the door, and that would say, oh, she's coming. Go get my stuff, and then get by the door, and then she'd be there like within 5 minutes. So it was really, really cool. And then Alvin says, this is Delise. I sent you a private message from my account. Okay. I don't know. I can't see that right now because where did you send? You sent it on Messenger, or did you send it on? You sent it on Messenger. I'll see it after the podcast, and I will answer it because my phone is in use right now because I have TikTok over here responding and doing things. So my phone's in use for me to see it. But I will definitely look at it, post, and I will answer you, or I'll send it back to you. Okay. Folks, also, what I need to let y'all know too, I should have announced in the beginning, is that this weekend I got my phone back from Stacy. So I'm answering my own text messages. Please don't call. I will not answer it. The sound is off. Text me. It may take me a day or so. Give me 24 to 48 hours to get back to you. Because I'm still trying to organize everything that's going on with the cruise. I'm teaching in Las Vegas next weekend, and I'm doing the following week. I'm on the cruise, so I'm staying really, really busy right now. So it might take me a little bit of time to get back to you. Hey Tina, you made it. And then Glenda says, the night my mom passed, we saw the sun at 2 a.m. My mom always said when she died, she was going up with a burst of light, so we would know it was her. That is beautiful, Glenda. And yes, the spirit world can do anything. Once you've been to like live seance and you've literally seen physical phenomena happen, you learn that the spirit world can do almost anything. They can even, like, I went to a healing session where they were healing somebody, but you could feel the pull of the energy through the audience. And I had a bad ankle that day. And like when they were, like, I'd hurt my ankle. It was hurting, it was throbbing. But while the person was getting healed, all the pain went away. And then the minute the healing was over, it all come back. So spiritual energy is also a very, very healing energy. And then Tina writes, do you need help with your phone? I can probably help you. Right now, Tina, I'm changing over to a system where people can book online without me having to take a call. So my Google Meet sessions, you can all be booked online. I do not have a lot for April because I'm traveling and teaching a lot. So I'm not seeing a lot of clients. I have I have one lady that I have to get with who doesn't have Google Meets. I have to do Messenger with her because I don't think she has Google. And then there's another client that I'm going to be doing some counseling with because they just lost somebody. So I'm not really doing a session. I'm doing one of my free consultations with them to help them through what's going on, and so I'll probably do some of that maybe tomorrow. I'll probably do at least one of those tomorrow and the other one after Easter, because I have a very busy weekend planned of homework, and I'm going to the Gulf Coast to study and do homework and get away for a bit. So anyway, but thank you, Tina, for offering. And like I said, yeah, it's the way it's set up now is that all my Google Meets, all my online, because I'm in another state now, so all my online stuff will be posted, and you can just pick a day and sign up for it. If you want a free consultation, you have to email me. If you want me in person, I do go back to New Orleans occasionally, and I will open up some Saturdays when I'm there. but not this month because I'm not home this month at all. Like, I'm not going even. I probably won't even be in New Orleans until the cruise, because this week I'm in the Gulf Coast, and the following weekend I'm in Vegas, and then the next weekend I'll be in New Orleans. But then we're leaving on the cruise that Sunday, so. And I'll be in New Orleans that Sunday night after the cruise when it ends, because I have a doctor's appointment on that Monday. There you are, Delise. She goes, I'm back. So anyway, let's get back to the mediumship. But I wanted to just let you guys know how that works. So I want y'all to think about a time where you were, I don't want to say wrapped up in, but you knew someone was hurting you, or you knew you were connecting to them emotionally or empathetically, that you were connecting to that person. And then think about, how did you feel? Did something else come to you other than just those senses? That's that lift. That's that shift. Kiara says, my daughter was playing softball at the World Series and we stayed in my camper. We were gone all day at the ballpark. When we got back to the campground, the owners were frantic around our camper. A huge tree fell over and landed on our camper. We walked inside to see how much damage was done, and we were greeted with a huge dragonfly the size of my hand. There was no damage. Amen. Amen. Call it coincidence or call it divine intervention. That's what I tell people. That's a beautiful story, Kiara. Thank you for sharing it with us. This is what podcasts are about. I love it when y'all share stories or you share things, because I know what I can do. I've been doing it for years, and I keep sharing a lot of the stories with y'all over and over. Y'all need to be getting bored, but I want to hear your stories. I want to hear what's going on with you too, so y'all can make my day special. So let's talk a little bit about when a mediumship gives validations. What are validations? What are true validations? Now, I call them different levels. Basic level validation of things like you're able to identify a birth date. You're able to give a name. Those things are good. However, tell me grandma baked cookies, garden, those are okay depending upon where you're at in your mediumship, but those are common. So you always try to, and it's okay. Well, Glenda, share some. It's okay to, when you're medium, to give some of those common, but I tell people you have to give multiple levels of information. Things that you can't see on the internet, things that, that aren't just common, like, and maybe grandma didn't like to bake, but a lot of them do. Maybe grandma, did grandma crochet? Yeah, tell me what she crocheted. Or did grandma do arts and crafts? Tell me what type of craft. And again, you might only get arts and crafts, and that's okay, but then another piece of your evidence has to be a little more validating. Something that you can pinpoint, because maybe the way you're sensing it isn't coming through as clear as something else may come through. And that's what the sitters don't understand. That's what the skeptics don't understand. They want to just trash you because you didn't tell it to them just like they knew it. Then they really don't understand mediumship or the connection to the spirit world. And so Celeste says, when my father passed, he made the phone ring. When the phone was unplugged, LOL. I've seen spirits since age of 8 years old. Very blessed. And at 8 years old, you should be seeing spirit because your brain's not fully developed, and that's when you're mostly in your right brain. So you should have been seeing spirits at 8 years old. Everybody does. They just don't admit it. Glenda Scotia, I got lots of stories. I love that. But anyway, so understand that there are different types of validation. And it's okay to give some that are concrete. There are some that are, that's kind of common. And when I'm reading, I'll even say to you, that one's kind of common because a lot of guys do this, or a lot of grandma. And again, they might say, well, not mine. I'm saying, but a lot of others do, so that may be why I said it. Hey, Sandy, how you doing, love? Anyway, so, your validations in mediumship should build, and they should be some of each level. Like, you should be able to give some really good concrete of it. Nobody could have known. Like, I'll give you an example. I was reading someone, and I said to them, I see you flying a red kite with a black dot in the middle of it. What the hell is that? Who has a kite like that? She goes, I did. And my daddy and I used to go fly because our dad had passed, and he was showing me the red kite with the black dot. You're not going to see that anywhere else. You're not going to see that on Facebook. You're not going to see that in an obituary. That is going to be nowhere online. You know, I was able to tell a woman that all her grandfather wore were suspenders and the color of them. And, you know, when you can do things like that, those are your good deep dive hits. And as a medium, you should be able to give some of those validations. Tina says, yesterday evening I was home and the name Francis popped up in my head. I don't know anyone by that name, and the only person I could connect his name is St. Francis. So I have a St. Francis story. I was in Pierpont, Louisiana at a house party doing a gallery, and it was like 20 people in the room, and I was there for like an hour and a half gallery, you know, flat rate, in and out, hour and a half. And I'm talking to this guy, and I'm bringing through his grandmother, and I'm giving him information about her. And then I finally get him, I said, why I keep hearing St. Francis? And he yells at me, because I told my grandmother that if she didn't get you to say St. Francis, that you were a fake. Now I know you're real. And I'm like, shit, I'm glad I said that, because I don't know where that came from. But anyway, so those things happen. Yes, those things happen. Those are actually great validations. So let's take a little moment, since I've got all of you online. Let's take a little moment right now, and I want y'all to think of something that happened that wasn't very pleasant for you, something you had to deal with that wasn't very pleasant. And I just want you to take a breath or two while you're thinking about that. And then I want you to ask yourself a couple of things. Did I learn something from that? Did I see anything else? Or was there anything positive that was lying there that maybe I missed, or maybe I should have looked at? If you could do that, that is called a shift. Because I'm going in, I'm finding something negative, and then I'm looking for the positivity in it. So it's a shift of energy. And somebody just lost a father, because I just seen a mail pop up over here in my screen. But anyway, I'm not going there. I see somebody's dad here. Years ago, we had to live in a rent house, and things kept happening. My son would see a lady in an old-fashioned dress standing in the hallway. The door would open when we got home, and just a bunch of little things. My husband didn't believe in spirits, and he was looking through his automotive, but trying to figure out what was wrong with his truck. He closed the book and put on the table the next morning. When he went to get the book, it was opened up to the page of what was wrong with his truck. I love that. I love when they mess with non-believers. You know, I do. And people, you know, I mean, come on. Think of it scientifically. If energy doesn't die, what happens to the energy you create when your physical shell goes away? Just being real. That's science. But that's science nobody likes to talk about or address. Think about that. Think about that as you think about that negative moment in your life, and you try to find the positivity in it. Because that's a brain shift. When I teach people about energetics and how to move from the negative back into the positive, that's a shift. That is an energetic shift. Yes, in the spirit world of this one. Absolutely. So learn to shift. I could tell y'all some things to do, to try at home. Like, so Sonia Rinaldi, she's wonderful. If you ever can look her up, she's got a movie out. It's a documentary. It's absolutely wonderful. I highly recommend it. It's one of the few documentaries that I do recommend, because most of them put me to sleep. Not that one. But you can go look at it. And she uses light and cloth, shiny cloth. And she takes her camera and she puts someone behind a cloth, and their loved one sometimes will energetically appear on that cloth. And you can see it in the filming, and it was absolutely wonderful. And she actually is the one person that I admire, because she explained to me how I see the spirit world. She was able to give me validation to tell me that, the light, they can manipulate light to give you. So when I close my eyes, my spirit team manipulates light in my head, and it creates these images in my head. And they're almost like black, white, and contrast photos, or quick snapshots that show me things. Like when I saw the person's father a minute ago, who popped up and walked in towards me. He, that's the image that he was. It was almost like a negative, but more black and white in contrast than that reddish color you'll see in a negative. So that burnt orange color you see in a negative, but it's just, so that's kind of how I see when I'm using clairvoyance. So that's a little bit about how I see, like I said, when I'm using clairvoyance. And so another exercise you can try doing is when you look at somebody, see if you can sense or feel their energy field, and then push past it, push in it, and then push through it and pass it. That is a way to start connecting to the spirit team. Is being able to get involved in someone's energy and try to push past it. It's almost like you're getting into the soul of the person versus their auric field. The mediumship reading comes from the soul of a person, but you got to get through that energetic umbrella of the psychic world. So you have to go through there and get past that and able to get in tune with the spirit world. And I tell people, if you're having trouble doing it, then sit a few minutes in silence and just try to ground, and then try to take yourself on a journey, or do some flash memories. Some people like to do it in the dark. I like it in the light because the light is what gives me my images. So I need to work in the light. Hey, Daphne. Me and Daphne are going on a date Friday. We're going on a weekend date. We got hotel rooms. I love separate hotel rooms, by the way. But we're going on a date. We have a beach date for Easter. Anyway, so those are just some little exercises that you can do to help develop your mediumship as well. The auric field, I told you earlier in this episode to kind of look at trees, the outlining of trees. Watch that person who's sitting up talking in a meeting or something, and see if you can see their energy field over them. And while you're doing that, close your eyes a moment and see if you're not seeing it in color, you just see it like the white light, which is beautiful. But go in and see if you can sense color with that person while they're doing that. And sense the color that you're getting. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. Trust your sense. Go in and see what you're sensing. Some people say, is it their aura? Or am I blending my aura with theirs and I'm getting that color? So it just depends on how good you are at it, So think of that. It doesn't hurt to practice. It doesn't hurt. And if you open yourself up like this, you will start seeing more and more and more miracles. So somebody went to church. It's Wednesday. Somebody went to church today in this group somewhere. I don't know if it's TikTok or the thing, but I just saw my church symbol just went by. Anyway. So I like to tell you all those things when I see things in my head, not because I'm trying to do a reading for anybody. It's because I'm trying to let you see how things just pass through and move. And yes, I could grab that and dive into it deeper. I could focus on that and push it through and go to the soul of the person and read them mediumistically. That's how it works. I trust what I get. Debbie says, I had a loved one pass very close to each other. My daughter was getting married in Hawaii, and I told these loved ones many times I want to know if they were there when my daughter gets married, so please show me 3 dolphins. As the music started and my daughter proceeded to come over the sand, people said, oh my, and there was 3 dolphins swimming together. Absolutely beautiful. Yes. They will listen to you. So yesterday I was driving down my dad's, my stepmom's street, and I just saw this crow land and walk this weird way in one yard, and I said, if that's for me, show it again. And I'll be goddamn, the next yard I drove by, a crow was doing the same thing, and I'm like, I'm not going to argue with that, but okay. So things like that happen. They do. They listen to you. They can make things happen for you. Now, the best way to get those things is to clear the negative energy from around you. Dump off all the blah and start circling yourself and find yourself in peace. A wedding is a beautiful, peaceful event, and that's probably why that was able to come through easy. What is the name of the street that I was on? West William David in Metairie. So, anyway. And I do want to send some prayers out to one another. So we have a couple people in the hospital right now. Trini's best friend is just, well, her surgery was successful. We sent a lot of love and prayers. Her heart surgery was successful. I have one of my dear friends was in the hospital. But I also lost a loved one this week. Celeste, you should know that. I lost a loved one this week. Did you hear about that, Celeste? We had one of my family members pass away just a couple days ago. Did you hear about that, Celeste? You should have. It was that side of the family that you know. So anyway. What was it? When they passed? I can't remember the exact day they passed. Trini was here. It was right before Trini came. So Trini came in on a Friday. They passed last Thursday. Wednesday or Thursday. So thank y'all for the prayers. Absolutely. Do I ever see a streak of energy? Absolutely. And when I work in the ER, in places in the ER, and somebody comes in coding, they usually have energy that follows us. So my cousin, the one that you know, his great uncle, my uncle, passed away last week. Oh, thank you, Debbie. No, folks, I don't. It really freaks people out, but I look at death in a different way than most people. And again, I'm very sorry for the loss, for the family, and for my family, and people who don't see things like I see them, who don't understand that many times they're in a better place. They're back with the people they love, and they're having a big party all around you. And so always remember, and this it's hard to say, but it's true. Grief is a selfish aspect of ourselves, because it's not about the person that died, it's about our connection to them. It's about us. Grief is about us. And I love people, and I love my family, and I love everyone, and it's sad when they pass. It's very sad. But I also, try to remember that this is just the way it was written, and this is something that everybody goes through. So it's okay to mourn. It's okay but I try to think of the good memories and the good times that we had, and those things versus any guilt or grief, because I don't think I've done anything. I don't consider myself doing anything wrong to anybody that I should be guilty or feel like I'm responsible or anything like that for someone else's passing. I don't believe in that guilt. If I was truly doing what was the best of my knowledge, even if I'm doing the best of my knowledge and treating people good and kind, as long as you do that, you should have nothing to feel guilty about. So yeah, you will sometimes see streaks of energy. I used to see them at the ER, like if a black streak followed somebody into my ER, I knew they weren't going to make it. It was like a dark streak that would follow in with the ambulance people. I'd be like, oh, if they save this one, it's going to be rough. They probably will be brain dead for a while or something, because of that black streak would tell me. And a lot of times they would call me. I think I've told you, I was in the hospital when the people who know what I do would call me when someone was passing, and they would let me know, kind of help them judge when to start calling family, because I could actually see the energy lie over the body, and that would tell me that they were about to pass. And there's been times when I've actually brought the code card to the room before they code it, and that's witnessed. That's not me making that up. That is definitely witnessed, because on here everybody wants proof. Well, I can give you a list of people to call. I can give you a list of people that were present. But being in tune, so let me tell you something. So being in tune, and that's why I tell people, with these exercises I'm giving y'all, please do them. Because you don't have to be a medium, but being in tune with energy in the world around you will help you in so many ways. I mean, I'll give you an example. I was working a code in a trauma room in an ER, and the respiratory therapist came up, and I saw our eyes caught, and all of a sudden I got this big tunnel vision with her, and I could see something was like nobody else saw it because everybody was focused on the code, but her and I latched eyes, and I knew something was wrong with it. So I said, "Hey, you need to step out of this code," because as my role in codes, I was directed the traffic in the room. And I told her, "You need to get out, and you need to go to that ER room." And I called the other respiratory therapist and brought her into the room to finish the respiratory stuff. So they drew labs on her and everything, and the doctor says that, she's fine. Her labs came back normal. He had me put a nitro patch on her, and anybody who's done nitro patches knows that if you get a headache with it, it probably means that you don't, you didn't need it. But if you don't get a headache, you needed it. And so when I put the nitro patch on her, she didn't get a headache. And I'm like, "You don't have a headache?" She says, "No." I'm like, "Okay." And so the doctor was going to send her home. And I told the doctor, I said, "We are not sending her home." And we literally got in a fight. He's like, "Why? We're full. We don't." I said, "We have a bed for her." I said, "I actually got," because I was in charge of beds too. I said, "I have a bed for her." I said, "We keep people here for less than what she's displaying. She's one of ours." I finally got him to keep her. They did the next troponin draw, which is the blood draw they do that tells you whether you're having a heart malfunction or not, and it skyrocketed. And they found out that she had a small rip in her aorta and it was stretching. She wouldn't have made it home without bleeding to death. She went in cath lab. She was saved. She came back to work. Her and her husband wanted to give me money. I wouldn't take their money. They said, well, they had to do something for me. And me and Maggie were getting married the next month. And so I invited her to my wedding in New Orleans. And she came, her and her husband came to my wedding. I said, I want you to dance at my wedding when all this is over. And she did. She came to my wedding, her and her husband, and they danced. And that made me very happy. I will never forget her. I will never forget her because I literally saved her life because the doctor was going to send her home. And next day he apologized and he thanked me and he said, "You're right. We admit people for less stuff than this, and she's one of ours. You did the right thing by wanting to protect her." And I said, "Absolutely. I fought for her." He says, Tina says, "Me too. I look at lose through death. It's all about me beginnings." Yeah. And then Glenda says, I've seen them in my living room. I was talking to my friend on the phone and she saw the same thing in her room. We were both telling each other what we just saw. Yes, because why? Because energy is also in multiple places at one time. It's a constant. So yes, they can be visiting everybody at the same time. They're watching all of you. Just because they're with me doesn't mean they're not with you. So understand that too. About that. So anyway, so tonight was very interesting. This is series 1 of the foundations of mediumship. This was part 1. Next week will be part 2. It'll be another topic. We're going to 10 weeks of this, and then we will share stories with each other, with one another throughout the 10 weeks, and we will grow with this. And we're going to get into a lot about spirituality because that's what my podcasts are about. And I need to keep that focus. That's what I want my podcasts to be about mostly, is talking to you guys about the spirit realm and spirituality and metaphysics. We're gonna cover a lot of topics this year, but I wanted to stay focused. And I really appreciate everybody for joining me. But it is 9 o'clock. And I will do, since everybody was great at interacting tonight, and I promised that if you interacted, I would pull some cards for you. So, it's all 1/4s, and I got both decks out. So, who wants a card? Come on, you better put it up there. Because I'm going to do one, and I'm going to see what I get for you. You can do it. Okay, Erica says me. I'm going to pull one card for Erica. Erica, you've got the Three of Coins. Three of Coins. The Three of Coins is all about partnerships. It's about coming together. It's about building. It's about creating good relations. And that's the card I pulled for you today. And so, wait, ooh, y'all all going, everybody's wanting it now. So let me see. So Dawn, okay, I think, wait, everybody's going so quick, I can't keep up. Let me get Erica in. I think I just did Erica, right? No, I did Dawn. I did Erica. You were first. Let me do Debbie now. See, the screen's popping up. And I'm going to do Debbie from this deck. And Debbie got the scissors. So Debbie, what that tells me, it's time to cut ties or let go of the things that you need to let go. And so what I want you to do is take a little time and think about the things that have been causing you a little bit of stress or something that is it something you got to change with? You just need to cut it out of your life and let it go. If it's something that's drilling into you, it's time to let it go. That was for Debbie. Hey, Dawn, type me if you want me to pull a card for you. So I need to know that part. Glenda, let's pull a card for you. Glenda, you are the Seven of Wands. So for me, the Seven of Wands talks a lot about, and I do this so you guys can learn these cards too. The Seven of Wands is all about protection. It's all about defending. It's all about I need to hold off on something, or I need to protect myself from something. And usually, now depending which avenue I would go down with that card would depend a lot on what was next to it. But in your case tonight, I'm sensing that for you, it's all about protection. It's all about let me build a wall where I need to protect me from people interrupting my peace or not allowing me to have my time to think clearly. Don't let people push a rash decision on you at this point. Okay? And let's see who's next. Cindy. Let's go with Cindy. Cindy, for you, I got the baton, Cindy. And what that tells me is that sometimes in life you need to take charge. You need to take the lead, or sometimes just knock the hell out of somebody with it. But anyway, she got the baton in my symbology deck. Now, with the baton, like I said, it talks to me. It's all about taking charge, taking lead. It's also about using your talents to get ahead. All right, hooker? No, I'm just kidding. So go ahead and let your talents shine, my girl. All right, who else do I have here? I know there's a bunch of, but I'll keep moving it up, so I got to keep going down. Cindy was my last one. There she is. And then I have, Tina says she'll observe. Dawn says me. Dawn, you're going to get this card right here. Feels like a Dawn card. You've got the King of Pentacles, Dawn. The King of Pentacles is also about taking charge of value, finding the value in the things around you and taking control of those so that they enlighten your life and not pull you down. So think about those things as you think about the King of Pentacles, and let him take that let his mastery take over you so that you can control the value of the things around you and the things that you hold dear to your heart. And I will say that to you. And then I have Sandy. All right, Sandy, you're going to get one of my symbology cards. So Sandy, you get the jail window. I'm sorry I pulled that one for you, but it came. So what does that mean? No, it doesn't mean you're going to jail, Sandy. What that says to me, at times you feel trapped and you need an outlet of escape. That sometimes you feel boxed in. Sometimes it's by family, or if you're having to care for somebody all the time, or you need to find a way to have an outlet for you. You need to find a way to make a move to allow your heart to grow, allow things to just, or you already got a good heart, I know, but because I worked a lot with you. But again, just allowing your heart to grow and find out where the value is in that, and then break free of people or things that are trying to imprison you into your everyday life. And that was for Sandy. And then let's see, next is Celeste. Let me give you one of the other cards, Celeste. Celeste, you get the Chariot, Celeste. So what that tells me is that it's time for you to start moving. So pack your bags, get out that house. No, I'm just kidding. She's always about the damn house. But it's a journey. The chariot is a lot about victory. It's a lot about success. It's a lot about succeeding so that things can move for you, so that can enlighten and remove the blocks in your journey. And that's what the chariot says for you, Celeste. And let's see who's after Celeste. Kimberly just got, well, you can just put a me down and I will get to you. All right. Dawn, I've already done you, I think. Yes, because you said me up there. And then Daphne says me. So Daphne's going to get, where did I leave off? 3 here and 4 there. So it's a symbology card. Daphne, I always get funny ones for you. Twice you the eyeball. I get orange for Daphne. So what that tells us, so orange is a unique color. You're welcome, Sandy, my love. Orange is a unique color. Orange has a lot of different effects. So orange is about creativity. It's about talking. It's about socializing. However, there's a side of orange that has fear, and it's a fear of opening up. It's a fear of setting boundaries. It's a fear of so one of the things when we used to do the flashing lights of all the chakra colors, and we had different shades of each color of orange. There's a certain shade of orange. It's also about abuse. And I already know you worked a lot with abuse, but orange also is a certain shade of orange that does that. So that's also about preventing that, taking control and moving forward, Miss Daphne, that I have a date with this weekend. And then next is Nicole. So Nicole, you get one of these. Nicole, you have judgment. And what judgment is about, it's not always about judging others or judging self. It's also about judging the situation around you. It's about setting yourself free from the things that hold you down, sometimes by coarse judgment. So what you need to do is allow yourself to think freer, to be freer, to not let others pull you down by your legs because they want to just give you all this stuff to put in your head and try to imprison you. Allow yourself to grow, use good judgment, move away from it, educate yourself on you. Educate yourself on like what's holding me back, what I need to do, how can I make things happen, and making those decisions to get you there. And that's what judgment's all about. And let's see where I'm at. That was I just did. Now I'm back at Jamie, I believe now. So Jamie, you get one of these. Jamie, of course you got the crown, Jamie. Jamie gonna be drinking Crown next week. No, just kidding. Jamie, what the crown means, Jamie, when I look at this and I think about you, because I know you, and I think this is about you always wanting the best for everybody else, but sometimes you need to have the best for you. And wearing that crown helps you get that. So it's not always about working and doing things for others. It's also about taking time to do things for yourself. The crown is here because when you think about it, when you're a king or even a queen, you're always doing for the people. But this is also about taking and making sure that people and things are doing things for you that warm your heart as well. And I say that as well. All right, so after Jamie, to find my list, after Jamie, let's see who I got. Christy. Christy, you get one of these. Christy, you've got the 2 of Wands. And the 2 of Wands is all about direction. It's all about having a choice. It's all about being able to decide which way I'm going to go. How am I going to grow with this? And it's also about looking at your future and making sure you take the right path. So what I'm going to say to you right now is evaluate where you are, evaluate where you see yourself going, and what's going to be best for you in the long run. And don't let other people influence it. Make sure it's something that you can reach, you can obtain it without the help of too many people. And I'm going to tell you that, Miss Christy. Now let's see who's next. Daphne, Nicole, hi bestie, me. So this is Kiara. Okay, Kiara, you get one of these. Kiara, oh girl, you get the handcuffs, Kiara. Now, so doesn't mean you're going to jail, girl. It's kind of like my poor friend Sandy got the bars, but that's not a bad thing. So the handcuffs. What they are is about being attached to something you need to let go of and not being able to do it for whatever reasons. It could be a thing of value, it could be a thing of security, it could be a thing of, but it's all about not allowing yourself to be attached to something that's not being positive for you. So sit down and do some reflection, evaluate that, and see if there's anything else that you need to just check off and cut loose so that you can get out of them handcuffs. Okay, and let's see. Okay, I think that she went, oh shit. That's my handcuffs. Okay, not going to jail. But anyway, is there anybody on TikTok? Jim, are you watching me on TikTok? Did anybody want anything on TikTok? Type to me, Jamie, baby. Because I don't know how many people I even have in TikTok, because I can't see that like that. And I'm trying to see if Jamie's going to type to me on TikTok. Nope. Just her. Okay. So that is good. So tonight, I want to thank you guys for joining me. Next week will be a new topic, but it's going to all be on the foundations of mediumship. We will start next week at 8 o'clock on the dot. And I will see you guys next week. It's been a lot of fun. See you later. Check it out. Thank you for joining me tonight.